Beneath twin suns on Arrakis land, firmament whispers in the wind so grand. Melange flows through every hand. Shai Hulud rules the desert sand. Paul's visions, good times hold. He who sees where futures unfold. Blue within blue eyes so bold. Destinies in spice foretold. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that had a wreck, rising from the dust and back. Just cutting through the sky. Harkonnens, blood and spice do lie. What is worth more than gold? Ancient secrets still untold. Shiny whispers, dreams to thee. Bene Gesserit's prophecy. Fear the mind that's set free. In the shadows, destiny. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that had a wreck, rising from the dust and back. Dreams to thee, Bene Gesserit's prophecy. Fear the mind that's set free. In the shadows, destiny. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that had a wreck, rising from the dust and back. Beneath twin suns on Arrakis land, firmament whispers in the wind so grand. Melange flows through every hand. Shai Hulud rules the desert sand. Paul's visions, good times hold. He who sees where futures unfold. Blue within blue eyes so bold. Destinies in spice foretold. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that had a wreck, rising from the dust and back. Just cutting through the sky. Harkonnens, blood and spice do lie. What is worth more than gold? Ancient secrets still untold. Shiny whispers, dreams to thee. Bene Gesserit's prophecy. Fear the mind that's set free. In the shadows, destiny. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that had a wreck, rising from the dust and back. Dreams to thee, Bene Gesserit's prophecy. Fear the mind that's set free. In the shadows, destiny. Shifting sands are fate to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens that had a wreck, beneath twin suns on Arrakis land. Firmament whispers in the wind so grand. Melange flows through her.
Welcome back to the show. Hey, we already got folks in. Welcome to Dune Prophecy Pre-Show on my channel, Arrakis Central. And when are the episodes dropping? So the episode 1 comes out in 1 hour, 8 p.m. Central. For those of you who are new to the channel, yeah. So hey, I'm just doing some early discussions on Dune Prophecy. Do a little pre history, so to speak. The setup for the show. Does anybody have questions? Because I've read the books. So then I did a little recap last night on my live stream. I do a weekly Saturday stream about all Dune stuff, but this pre-show is basically gonna be about all Dune Prophecy. I'm gonna run this for about 30-40 minutes. I'm gonna end the stream, go watch the episode, and then I'm gonna do the post-show live stream. So I'm gonna be back on live again at around 9 Central. So depending where you are, it's 9 o'clock Eastern time. Episode 1 drops 8 o'clock Central, and then it's 2 hours back, 6 o'clock. I guess is that 6 o'clock for West Coast, or is it just 7? I don't know how far back it is. How many hours back is West Coast from Central? Is it 2 hours or just 1? I don't even know. I'm so stupid. Yeah, so I'm running on. I guess I thought my stream was running on X, so I have my X account linked, but it's not coming through, so I don't know how that works. Yeah, so I don't, yeah, so no one's typed anything yet. So Dune Prophecy drops in approximately, actually it's like 40 minutes from now. So I'll probably do the stream close to 30 minutes, maybe 20. It might be more close to 25 minutes. It'll be a short pre-show stream. So anybody who finds this live stream, this is Dune Prophecy. This is 10,000 years before the events of Dune, like the movie. So, you know, Dune, Paul Atreides, Harkonnens versus Atreides, Emperor Carino, Shaddam. So this is the prequel to that, which means the beginnings of the Dune universe, essentially post the Butlerian Jihad, which I think they're going to call it the Machine Crusade in here for obvious reasons, because they don't want to make people go nuts. Because yeah, your guess is as good as mine, but why people freak out about that. But the books are called the Butlerian Jihad, Machine Crusade, and then the Battle of Corrin, which is prequels to this show. The books that this show is based on are Sisterhood of Dune, Mentats of Dune, and Navigators of Dune. This happens about 40-50 years after those books. So she's Valia Harkonnen being the main person we see on my screenshot right there, the main character, so to speak, one of the main protagonists. So you need X premium account. Oh, you need a premium account to go live on X. I did not know that. That sucks. Huh? How much is the X premium account? How do you go? How do you even go premium? All right, here. Oh. So you have $2 longer posts. How do you go live? It doesn't say which one you need. It says you need the get paid to post longer videos, half ads and free following, large reply boost, get paid to post, check mark, AI assistance. It doesn't say anything here. So Sardaukar are not created yet in this show, which is a theory I have for this show, is that we're going to see the creation or the beginnings of the Sardaukar, I think, in this show, as a theory. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. But by the trailer, by some of the stuff I've seen in the trailer, it looks like we're seeing like an early Sardaukar. So I kind of have an idea who possibly Desmond Hart is too. But going back to the main thing of this, the main plot story, not to ruin anything too bad. So this show, Dune Prophecy, is going to take place about 40, 50 years after the books. The books take place about 80 to 90 years after humanity wins its freedom from the AI thinking machines. So a lot of people don't realize the reason that there's limited technology in the Dune universe, no robots, none of that, is because 10,000 years before Paul Atreides and all that, AI thinking machines have enslaved humanity. There was a huge revolt. That's what those first 3 books are about. The Machine Crusade. There's a couple free worlds that have shields that prevent the AI from getting into their atmosphere, into their systems, but it's not many. There's only a few free human worlds out there, and then AI control everything else. They control Earth and everything. And this is before it happens to the show. This is about 150 years before that show. So I don't remember exactly how long AI controlled humans. I don't remember the exact. It's thousands. I think it's a couple thousand years or something like that. I can't remember exactly how long it was in the lore. I have to look that up and remember. It says in the books, I think. So there's a huge crusade. Humanity rises up, defeats the thinking machines, and then fast forward, humanity's trying to put itself back together while limiting technology, because there's going to be a group of fanatics called the Butlerians. The reason they're called the Butlerians is because Serena Butler kind of started the revolt, so that was her last name, is Butler. And then I believe later on the Carinos are basically the Butler family, if I remember correctly. They changed their name to Carino. But regardless of that, because of that, all these zealots come out of it, anti-technology cultists, so to speak, and they're religious fanatics for anti-technology. So that's basically who they use to defeat the machines. So I'm curious if we're gonna see any remnants of the Butlerians in this show. I don't really know how that's gonna work, but I'm curious. So Valia Harkonnen, she's in the books. She's younger. She's 20s. Her sister Tula's in the books. Emperor Javico, he's in the books, but only mentioned a little bit, as he's a kid in the books. He's the son of, well, to take that, in the books, you start off with a Emperor Salvador Perino. His brother is Roderick. So Roderick's son is going to be the emperor in this show. So he's older, he's grown up, and he's an emperor. He's like 50 years old or whatever, 56, mid 50s. So his uncle, Javico's son, was Salvador, who gets basically murdered in a setup on Arrakis in a spice mining exhibition. Basically, he was before the Spacing Guild Navigators, you had Joseph Venport and Venki Enterprises, Venport Company, which has privatized the Space Guild Navigators. The Spice Guild Navigators, or say. He has that privatized. So he has like a monopoly on the folding space. You know, not really the folding space engines, the Holtzman engines, because everybody had those, but the Spice Navigators that can accurately fold space without a computer, right? That's the big issue. Everybody else has them, but it's 50-50 whether your ship's gonna warp correctly. You could end up in a star. You can end up in some other location. So yeah, that's why the spice is so important. So the spice is basically discovered to be able to help somebody fold space more accurately in the first trilogy of books. So there's the first Spacing Guild navigator is a woman named Norma Senva. She is, I went over this last night pretty extensively on my live stream, the lore in the back, but she figures out, well, we can't use AI computers anymore because we're banning computers. So we have to use spice gas. You go into a chamber with spice gas and it elevates your consciousness so you can see all the basically sublight. You can see it elevates your consciousness to the level where you can see all possible safe paths for doing space jumps. And the navigators actually are the ones who do the controls in their containers. These spice gas containers. The spice gas, prolonged exposure to it mutates you into like a fish frog looking creature, and you kind of float in the spice gas. But you're kind of still human, I guess. So if you watch like the old 1984 Dune, you see the grotesque looking weird creature in the container. That's a guild navigator in spice. And I've often wondered. Well, I won't speculate right now on that, but that's actually what they look like. They get all mutated and gross looking. So in this show, it's going to start off 40 years after the events of those books. Javiko's emperor. Mentat school was restructured during those books because the first Mentat was actually the adopted son of an AI thinking machine named Erasmus. Erasmus was basically kind of like a autonomous AI that worked for Omnius. Omnius is the basically during the AI brain. Omnius is basically the hive mind, controlling hive mind of the AI. So each planet has their own kind of central, Omnius sphere, and they have to be basically updated by data. Someone has to bring the data sphere to them and update everything and synchronize the planets, because they have no way to synchronize over long paths of distances between star systems or planets. So the planets that are controlled, they have a person do it. So a person flies a ship to every AI planet. He kind of works for the AI. You really have to think like when you're thinking of these AI cross between what is it? The Matrix, kind of a cross between. Think of like mix Matrix, Skynet, and Cylons. Mix the three together, and you got a really horrible, badass like AI. Overseer structure. Like they're worse than all of those three. So that's why you put them all together. You kind of get the AI thinking machines in this one. Just think of those three. Just imagine those three from what I just mentioned into one entity, and that's basically what the AI that humans are dealing with in the Dune universe. So when they synchronize their planets, they use a human and a robot that he flies around in a ship. The human being the sun. So there's 20 humans that work with the AI during that time. This is not in the show. This is the show takes this Dune prophecy is after they defeated all what I'm talking about right now, 150 years later. So this is I'm just giving you backstory on why you need spice and why technology's banned, right? And so the first Atreides, Orion Atreides, is the guy that flies and synchronizes the AI worlds, because he is the son of Agamemnon. Agamemnon being one of the Titan Cymex, which is a group of 20 humans that collaborated. To put it easily, it's not exactly like this, but that collaborated with the AI. They took their brains out of their bodies, put it in canisters, just like RoboCop 2 with Kane. Think of that. Have you ever seen RoboCop 2 and they put Kane's brain in the robot? This is exactly what Cymex are, and they essentially work side by side, or so to speak, with the AI to enslave humanity. Well, the lead guy of that, he kept a embryo specimen of whatever of his DNA, and he had a human son born through like a test tube. It was actually no, I think he had put into a slave lady. That's what it was, not a test tube. A human slave was bore his son, which was Vorian Atreides. So he's the first Atreides was actually working for the bad guys. That's the easy way to say it. Working for the AI. That's all explained in those first 3 books, which is Valerian Jihad, Machine Crusade, and Battle of Corrin. He ends up betraying the AI because he realizes they're wrong, and he goes and works for humanity. He ends up being like the lead general of or admiral, so to speak, lead Bashar of the human fleets that go and lead the crusade to destroy the machines later on. So he's like one of the biggest heroes of humanity. Is Vorian Atreides, along with the Harkonnens, but Harkonnens end up doing so. This, I don't know if the show is even going to talk about it. Why they are going to get crapped on by the Empire and by the Atreides later, and I'm hoping they do tonight, guys. So good news is if they don't fill in that information, the post show live stream I'm gonna fill in the knowledge gaps on tonight's episode. That is if they leave stuff out. So there's the lead. So you're gonna see Seleucus Secundus. Remember the planet where the Sardaukar are being trained in Dune, the movies, the new ones? Remember, it's Seleucus Secundus is where the Sardaukar home planet is. Remember when they're doing the ceremony and the chanting? And it's like all like kind of like rainy and doesn't look like a very hospitable planet. Well, in this movie, you're gonna see it before it's messed up, and that was the capital before Kaitain. The planet Seleucus Secundus is actually where the capital for humanity is, and we're probably gonna be there a lot in this show. A lot of Seleucus Secundus, a lot of Wallach 9, I'm guessing, maybe, and then you're definitely gonna have flashbacks to Rossack. You're going to see Wallach 9, which is the Sisterhood homeworld, Rossack being the previous world. We're going to see Dune, Arrakis, of course, because it's all through the books. We're going to see we'll see Caladan. We're going to see Lanka Vale, for sure. And we might see the Mentat. I haven't seen a whole lot of them showing anything Mentats. They had the Suk Doctor come out, but I don't really know. I didn't really see anything about the Mentat school, which is on a jungle planet. Off the top of my head, I don't remember the name of it. But the Mentats have like a jungle planet where they train. They're almost like kind of like Jedi in a weird way. They train in this dangerous jungle, the Mentats, and there's like swamps with like piranha fish, like they're called I think the Rippers or something, and like these swarms of fish, piranhas in there, and there's like creatures and stuff, and then they train by jumping on these stones and doing all this stuff to hone their mind. That's how the Mentats train, and it's pretty cool. But I don't know if they're gonna show any of that in this show. The first Mentat was working for the AI as well. So the Mentat school completely. When you see the Mentats in Dune, they got their complete origins based off AI. Erasmus basically taught the human to use his mind like a computer. The Erasmus AI bot, he's like a Dr. Mengele of the AI. He's just torturing humans, experimenting on them. He's a horrible, evil guy, robot. And the big reveal in this show, I have a feeling what it's going to be. I don't know if I want to ruin it for you guys. I could tell you probably what I think the big reveal at the end of this is going to be. I don't know, but I don't know for sure if they're gonna go that way or not. But I'll tell you guys if you want to know. No one's writing anything in the chat. A possible thing that could be shown in the show. If they don't show this in the show, actually, it'd be kind of a letdown. But if they don't reveal something. No one's typing in the chat. It's almost time for the show. Has anybody got any questions so far about anything I've discussed so far? Like, nothing? Nobody's typing in the chat. I did Lumberdan. Come on, Lumberdan, you still watching? Lumberdan's one of my most loyal fans. He's always here. I'm gonna turn that music down a little bit. But yeah. Oh, there you go. Wait. So are the Mentats around? Yeah, they're there. Yeah, Mentats are around. They're there. They train on a planet. Hold up. They basically, Gibraltus is the guy who started the Mentat school. He was the adopted son of Erasmus. He was this the feral human slave, and then basically Erasmus raises him, gives him life extension, and it makes him train his brain into being like the smartest human, and he's the first Mentat. He hides that he's was collaborating with the AI after they defeat of the AI at the Battle of Corrin, the planet of Corrin. He kind of blends into the slaves, and then he kind of like basically hides out for a while, for a few years. He doesn't age, either does Vorian Atreides, and he puts makeup on and stuff. And eventually, he comes out of hiding and starts the Mentat school. I can't remember the name of the planet. Hold on a second. It's so Gibraltus Albans, he's dead. So he gets killed. Can they compete with the Sisterhood or no? Oh, well, they're not really competing with the Sisterhood in the books. Not really. They can't compete with the Sisterhood. No, the Bene Gesserit Sisterhood, whatnot. They don't have the voice yet either. You know how they can use the voice? We're gonna see that in the show, by the way. We're gonna see the first person to use the Bene Gesserit voice, by the way. I know who it is. The reason that Valia Harkonnen is in the Sisterhood because she wants revenge on the Atreides. The Atreides, because Vorian Atreides banished their great-great-grandfather. What's his dang name? Not Xavier, but dude, I talked to this. I spat this out last night so easily. Yeah, it's Abelard. I'm sorry. Yeah, I had to look it up real quick. I was like I was brain farting it. I don't know why. So Abelard Harkonnen was working with Vorian Atreides, part of the fleet, to go destroy the AI in the final battle of Corrin. A huge human fleet. The AI put a wall of humans and containers in orbit around this planet because they would try to do a bluff that they wouldn't go through and kill their humans. Vorian Atreides, being the lead fleet commander, he's like, no, we have to. This is it. We have to destroy the AI no matter what. We're firing through. We're assaulting through all the slave containers in orbit. Abelard Harkonnen, he gets this big old conscience at the end And he's like, no, we're not gonna. No, we can't do it. We can't do it. Whatever. And there's a whole scene in the book where he goes and sneaks into the command and control room on the flagship and basically sabotages the whole fleet. Right? He gets caught. Vorian has him locked away. They go and they win the battle and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, at a tribunal back on Sluice Secundus, they want to put him to death for being a huge traitor for trying to sabotage the fleet. Vorian is like, no, don't kill him, just exile him to Lankavale, a crappy planet. So Abelard Harkonnen gets exiled to this crappy snow planet, and then that's why generation after generation starts blaming the Hartrades name for their downfall, even though they're the ones who, it's their own fault. Abelard tried to sabotage the fleet. So yeah. So they probably mentioned that in the show, I'm guessing. And then so that's why they hate him so much. Valia Harkonnen later joins the Sisterhood from Lankavale. She starts this scheme with her brother Griffin Harkonnen. He goes off to try to hunt down Vorian Hartrades, and she goes to try to get her weasel her way into the Sisterhood so she can get some kind of power. And then eventually you find out a secret thing, and she starts becoming this like very astute student working for Reverend Mother Raquel. Because at this point, there's one Reverend Mother that's taken poison. Only one. Raquel, this older woman. And that's on Rossack. And then she entrusts Valia with a real deep dark secret that the Sisterhood has. And she decides, okay, I'll keep the secret, and then I can use this to take out the Hartrades later. This secret. So she has complete arterial motives for being in the Sisterhood. She wants to take over everything and control all this stuff behind the scenes as a Sisterhood so she can destroy the Atreides. That's really her main thing. And then, later on, she starts basically kind of like, okay, I want to work for the Sisterhood and protect the sisters and all that kind of thing like that. But you're going to see a lot of like flashbacks in this show, how she kind of takes over it all. And then, because she's not in charge of the Sisterhood when she starts, she's young. So she's Mother Superior in this show, I believe. She probably is going to be Mother. They might not do it exactly like the books though. So they might condense it somehow. So that's a lot of information. They're going to have to condense it. Dude, there's 3 books of all this just these people. 3 long books. So her sister's in this show too. She drags her sister into the Sisterhood, Tula. And so when they're younger, Tula's like really super hot, like a supermodel. So she uses her to be like a assassin to seduce men and stuff and murder them. So she's like a prostitute assassin for the Sisterhood. And then she teaches her like how to like seduce men and stuff in the books, and sends her off to go do like missions. So the key thing you got to really understand, there's like 3 factions before this show that were fighting each other. There was the Venport Venki Enterprises, which has the monopoly on space travel with Spice, because they have Spice Guild navigators. Nobody else does. There's other companies with ships, but they don't have the Spacing Guild navigators. They're not technically the Spacing Guild yet. In this show, I'm thinking they are, but I don't know yet. But the and then you have the Manford, the lead Butlerian. He's missing his legs. So you have this guy, he's a zealot leading the Butlerians, because they have this fleet of old ships that flies around. If you get caught with any kind of computer, advanced computing technology, you get murdered. They wipe you out. They'll burn your whole village. They'll like burn half your planet. All this, they're like scorched earth if you get caught with any kind of computers. Because there's people on planets that like are hiding computers and tech to make their lives easier. And this guy he won't even have fake legs, so he rides around on the back of this swordmaster lady, Anari, and he's like Master Blaster from frickin' Thunderdome. He rides around on the back of this other swordmaster girl, and because he doesn't want to have fake legs because he's totally anti-technology. There's actually a scene in the book where this one scientist tries to give him fake legs, and I think he kills the guy just for offering it to him. No, so in so they have testing poisons at this point. That poisons they haven't perfected it. It's early on to make them a Reverend Mother to unlock all of their, you know, voices of all their Reverend Mothers before them and all that. So like they're not taking water of life in this show. They have their own poisons they invent in the beginning, and only one of them has survived it, which is Mother Raquel. I think we've seen the old lady in the trailer. She's superior. She's the only Reverend Mother. So what happens is in the books, Roritea decides to take the poison, and then they take it at the same. So Roritea is a machine, basically anti-machine, hardcore Butlerian supporter, anti-machine, anti-technology supporter, and she's suspicious of some of the people that they might want to use technology. So some of the sisterhood. So they take the poison at the same time. They get some of the experimental poison out of this locker, and then they take it. And then early on, Valia fakes taking it. So she's a fake Reverend Mother, but then eventually she takes it and opens up all her memories and all that stuff. But in the beginning, she fakes it, and then I don't want to ruin it, but I think that I already know what they're going to do here. They're going to show a flashback of how she takes over and gets rid of some stuff, some people she doesn't like. We've kind of seen that. We've seen it in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. Yeah, Dune Spice is on. Yeah, the show starts in 15 minutes. So what I'll be doing is I'll be finishing up this live stream here in the next 5 minutes. And then I'm going to watch the first episode. Then I'm going to be back on post show for another live for a quick, 30, 40 minutes again. And kind of discuss the episode. See what you guys think of it too. Last night's live stream, I talked a little bit about the early bad reviews for the show. It's getting 5, 6s. Some people are not liking it, I guess, apparently. So I guess we'll find out if it's bad or not. From what I understand, there's a lot of information they're throwing out, which is good for me. But I guess we'll see. I guess I'll be the judge of it, for my own opinion, if it's worth it, if it's good. We're only getting 1 episode. These people have seen 4 of the episodes. Hey, all I can say is I think they send it to the wrong people to review this thing, because when I read some of these articles, you can tell these people have never read the books. And I've read all these prequel books. These are based on Brian Herbert's books. Frank Herbert's son. All his extended universe prequel books. So Frank Herbert didn't write any of this. He's had notes. He had notes, a bunch of journals and notes that he had written down, like for backstory of Dune, and then his son had all those notes and then wrote all these books off of them. So he has actually a hand in the shows, and I think he has to approve some of the material they put in the shows. So the Herbert Incorporated, whatever you want to call it, because he still runs it, the son. I follow him on Facebook, actually, Brian Herbert, but I get it. A lot of people don't like those the prequel books because they don't exactly read like, as I explained it in my last night. So Dune, the Frank Herbert Dunes are a lot more stylistic, a lot more stylized, and they don't really explain things half the time. He just tells the story and flows, and then that's it. You get it or you don't. Brian Herbert, he has a lot more modern science fiction take on things, on his writing. A lot more descriptive and a lot more technical information in there as far as how things work, and that works this way, and this shield works that way, and things like that, modulations, and it's a lot more science fiction-y, so to speak, than as in the original Dune was almost like, kind of Dune kind of read almost like a medieval, than the sci-fi, as in the Brian Herbert books are a lot more science fiction like feel to them. So a lot of people don't like them. I like them. You know, I don't care what people say. I like all the Frank Herbert stuff too. Of course, obviously. I mean, nothing compares to the first Dune book, man. That first Dune book's just amazing. Even Frank Herbert's later stuff doesn't compare to the first Dune book. So it's just like whatever, it is what it is. It's like, but we're getting close to the end of the stream here. If you guys have any last questions before going into the show, see right here, what's on my screen. That's going to be a flashback of my theory is young Valia Harkonnen right there. So she's going to have flashbacks in here, I understand. And there she is when she's older. So she's going to have a flashbacks of how she basically, how she's basically plotting behind the scenes and has motives and stuff. She's trying to do, like I said, her main goal is to wipe out the Atreides bloodline. She's using the sisterhood to get that goal, to accomplish it. So I'm sure they're going to talk about that. And they're gonna show the Harkonnens on Lankavale, probably more than likely, kind of poor. Not necessarily. Well, by the time this show comes around, they're probably doing a little bit better. They fish whales on Lankavale. They hunt whales, whatever, so to speak. Which is funny because the Atreides, they're fishermen too, basically. The Atreides are barely a thing too. They're just like a rich. They're just like kind of a rich. They're just rich, successful people, business people. They're not necessarily on the Landsrad yet. That's the thing. So I wonder we'll probably see that in this show too. Them kind of making their way to the Landsrad for whatever reason. Because Vorian Atreides gives money to both sides. See, he feels bad later on. He feels bad later on that he kind of screwed over Abelard by exiling him, and he gives money secretly to the family, the Harkonnens family. So he kind of funds them, gives them a whole bunch of money secretly, and gets them out of the dumps. And he also gives a whole crap ton of money to the Atreides. You have to understand, at this point, he's like 180 years old or something like that, because he doesn't die. He has life extension. So he's like going around in the shadows, basically going and talking. He eventually goes back and reveals himself to the Atreides on Caladan. And there's a whole subplot. They're going to show some stuff here. I don't really want to ruin the whole show, guys, because it could be flashbacks that I'm talking about. I don't want to ruin every little tidbit, but yeah, I just don't know how in depth they're gonna go with it all. So they're gonna show some things, probably leave a lot out. From what I understand, they don't even show the guild navigators at all, which is a big part of the books. But I don't know why they don't leave them out. Maybe I just have this theory why these producers are leaving out the guild navigators, because I think they think they look too weird. They might throw off like normal audiences because they're real grotesque looking and weird, like frog people, because the spice gas mutates you. Yeah, so who knows? Maybe at least they'll mention them. For this show to get a really high score for me, they'll have to mention Manfred the Butlerian, Manfred Torundo, Joseph Venport, Venki Enterprises. They'll need to mention Norma Senva. Not to show them, but maybe at least mention them, okay? Vorian Atreides. Then they'll have to show, talk about Griffin Harkonnen, Vorian. They need to mention Roderick, the Emperor's dad. Salvador, and then the Fremen stuff. They're bigger. They're more of a bigger. They're using Fremen to sabotage. So the Joseph Zimport guy that runs the monopoly on the space folding ships, he's using Fremen he hires to go go out into space and pretend to be like engineers and stuff, and they're sabotaging other companies' folding ships, space folding ships. So that's pretty interesting. I wonder if we're gonna see that at all. Yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of information to put in this one show, so they're probably not going to show a lot of that stuff. And plus, that's from the other book, so this takes place like years later. So they might not even mention Vorian and Trade. They might not even mention some of those other characters that are all long dead by the time this show comes around. Guess we'll find out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this, and then go get ready to watch it. And I'll be back on in an hour, right after the first episode. So stay tuned, and if you want to see what I have thoughts on this show, this episode, and then yeah, I'm gonna go watch it on my big screen theater room, Dolby Atmos theater room I got. So cool, folks, cool. And so I will see you in 1 hour. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. 1 hour, I'll be back on. If you're just joining, I'll be back on after the episode is done, and I'm gonna live stream for the post-show episode. So make sure to tune back in to YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok, whatever you're on. Okay, guys? So go, if you have Max, go log in, watch episode 1, Dune Prophecy. If you don't have Max, I'm sorry, because it's only on Max. So I will see you guys then. All right, see you in a minute.
Destinies in spice foretold. Shifting sands are fake to find. In the desert heat we leave behind. Promise of the queens at Haderach, rising from the dust and back. Just cutting through the sky. Harkonnens, blood and spice to lie. What is worth more than gold? Ancient secrets still untold. Shiny whispers, dreams to thee. Bene Gesserit's prophecy. Fear the mind that's set free. In the shadows, destiny.